am really excited to speak with you. I loved your presentation. And I'm probably going to be focusing more on like the decriminalization of jaywalking.
Mhm.
Um, so yeah, let me just give like a little brief introduction and then I'll get into some questions. So during your presentation, you spoke a little bit about California's failed bill, basically to decriminalize jaywalking. But what's really interesting is that they're actually re-proposing something super similar in the
Mhm.
next session. Do you think that it would still have the same effects or outcomes as the original one that was vetoed?
To mind is some of the kind of legal history around the use of these laws. So things like jaywalking, and if someone's biking, if they don't have the properly sized light or bell, or in some places there are helmet requirements. There's been a lot of research building up an evidence base that these are kind of a pretext for stopping someone to then do searches for things like drugs in particular, and also sometimes for immigration enforcement purposes. Safety has not been the primary motivation for these stops.
So basically, they're already like what you just said. There's already a big like racial disparity around who gets stopped for jaywalking. Um,
Mhm.
and somebody actually, when I did my policy analysis on this bill, they asked me a great question and they said, because there's already a racial disparity around who gets stopped, do you think that this language would increase that? Because now it's up to the law enforcement's idea of what a reasonable, careful person is.
One thing that comes to mind is I believe Sarah Seo in a webinar she gave about her book said where there's discretion, there's discrimination.
Mhm.
It's just what we've seen. There's evidence really around the country. I think the question that you were posed, I would say yes, there's a lot of merit to that. Some of the kind of leading voices on this issue, I think, would probably say the California law is making some progress, but they would prefer the broad decriminalization, like taking that discretion away from police would be a good thing. And it's just because there's such a broad evidence base that that discretion leads to discriminatory outcomes.
So then going back to like the original bill that was proposed just to outlaw all throughout the state that jaywalking would be legal. What do you think about the governor's statement? Like, do you really think that by doing that, pedestrian deaths would go up?
I think this, to me, that might be a little bit of a underdeveloped position on safety.
Mm.
And and so I think of that 9 reasons essay that Angie Schmidt and Charles T. Brown wrote. One is jaywalking. They're typically behaving rationally. Um, and if sometimes especially in more suburban or rural areas, you could be a half mile or, or a mile between sort of controlled intersections, and just all the kind of things that they covered in that, that it sort of enables, I think, more aggressive driving. If drivers think like, oh, pedestrians can only cross in a certain way. I know I've experienced that. So yeah, that would be my take, that the governor's statement is just a little narrow and maybe a little underdeveloped.
Okay, perfect. That actually concludes all the questions that I had for you. So yeah,
Okay.
thank you so much. I loved talking to you. I hope that you come in next semester for if he teaches state and local
Oh,
policy, because your
oh,
presentation
thank
was
you.
really awesome. So
Thanks. Well, warm wishes for your studies. I'm really honored to talk to you. Thank you so much.
thank you so much.